You're with us. Cruise Holidays of the Era.
Pull up a deck chair and sit back, relax. It's time for your favorite cruise hour. You're on board, just cruising. Whether you're dreaming of your first cruise or planning your next one, join Larry Jackson as he explores the magical world of cruising. To launch today's cruise, here's Larry Jackson.
Good morning. Aloha, e como mai. Welcome aboard. I'm Larry Jackson, owner of Cruise Holidays of the Era, and I'll be your cruise director for this week's edition of our radio magazine that's all about the magical world of travel. Welcome aboard, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. I guess with the change of weather, this is going to be a good weekend to stay indoors and do that decorating that you had been planning to do, or maybe you hadn't been planning to do it, and now you have an excuse because it's going to be pretty lousy for doing anything else. Well, let's get right to the world of cruising and the news and articles of interest that came across my computer monitor this week. First of all, our favorite subject, the Port Canaveral. On Wednesday, the port commissioners had a meeting. Several things came out of that, which I'm sure you read about. One of which is the dropping of the rail proposal. But one thing that happened that I didn't see get much attention, and a very good friend of our show and a friend of ours, Admiral Wayne Justice, who is one of the Port Authority commissioners, was elected unanimously as the chairman of the Canaveral Port Authority Commission. So congratulations to Wayne. And again, great job everybody's doing out there. And Wayne's been on our program several times to give us updates on Port Canaveral, and so we're very pleased that he's now going to be the chairman of the Canaveral Port Authority Commission. And more news in the cruise line industry this week. The tax bill passed the Senate last weekend. And one of the provisions, as we had mentioned here on the show, was a proposal that would tax cruise lines, foreign flag cruise lines, during the time that they are in U.S. waters or ports. Now, the biggest economic impact of this tax was going to be on the state of Alaska, because they have a lot of ships that between the months of May and September, during the months of May and September, spend a lot of time in U.S. waters. Matter of fact, they spend almost 99% of their time in U.S. waters. And one of the senators from the state of Alaska, Dan Sullivan, managed to strike the proposal that would have added a tax during the time that cruise ships are actually in U.S. waters. And the impact of that was thought to be about $70 million on cruise lines. And as I told you on the show here, that was probably going to be passed right along to you, the cruisers. So good news, that was been dropped from the bill that's now gone to conference with the House of Representatives, unless they put it back in, which I find hard to believe. Maybe that issue is going to be dead for a while. Hey, speaking of taxes in ports, just a little hint for you from us. In certain ports, when you buy a drink while you're in the port, and now the one that I know of is Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. When you buy a drink in that port before the ship leaves, they charge a tax, a city tax on the drink. And they used to also, or they do charge it when bottles of wine are delivered to staterooms as gifts. So a lot of the cruise lines now deliver those gifts on the second day of the cruise when they're at sea, because there's no tax on it. So just sometimes if you're, and I believe Port Canaveral has a provision like that also. So just be careful when you're buying a drink. Now, if you have the beverage package, then I guess it doesn't apply to you. All right, more news of the cruise world, and this is really great news and surprising news. St. Martin reopened to cruise ships. This is 3 months after Hurricane Irma devastated the island of St. Martin. On December 6th, the Viking Sea sailed into Port St. Martin and marked the end of a 13-week cruise ship dry spell. The milestone was marked with fanfare, a welcome banner, appearances from a steel drum band, stilt walkers, Carnival Queens. That's the ladies that dress up in the Carnival costumes, not what you're thinking about, and dancers. And while ministry and port officials greeted the vessel And great festivities for the first cruise ship to return after 3 months to St. Martin. Good news there. One of the passengers on board was interviewed or reported to Cruise Critic that, quote, "We found the people very warm and welcoming. Everyone we interacted with thanked us for coming. While signs of the hurricane's impact are everywhere, the island is still beautiful and recovery is proceeding. More and more shops and restaurants are open. We're glad Viking stopped here." Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Seas is set to call on St. Martin on December 17th. St. Thomas welcomed passengers on November 10th, and San Juan reopened as a port of call on November 30th. San Juan had previously been open as a port for embarkation and disembarkation, but it then became a port of call, a day port of call, if you were. Tortola in the British Virgin Islands is slated to reopen with a cruise line called Marella Cruises, and that was slated to happen also on December 6th. I don't have any report as to whether it happened or not. Marella Cruises, by the way, you may have remembered a British or a UK firm called Thompson Cruises. They went out of business and were taken over or reformed into a company called Marella Cruises. So if you see that ship out floating around when you're out in the Caribbean, then that's the former Thompson Cruises. Well, you're on board Just Cruising. As I told you in the opening, my name is Larry Jackson, and I'm the owner of Cruise Holidays of Viera, and we are a boutique vacation planning store located in the Sun Tree area. And why should you care about that? Well, you should care if you're thinking about going to Alaska next year, or you're maybe thoughts of a river cruise in the United States or in Europe. If you'd like to go to Hawaii and take we have a specially designed 11-day cruise tour that's specifically designed just for folks who like to do things differently, who like to see the islands in a way that's more like the people that live there see it. If you have any desires to do anything like that, or if you just want to plan your vacation for next summer or next fall, please give us a call at Cruise Holidays of Viera. 321-242-1331. And the reason you should call us is because we will provide you with boutique vacation planning services. We are a small company, which means we give a great deal of detail to every one of our clients. And we would love to add you to our roster of clients and show you what great service is all about. So you can visit our website at viera.cruiseholidays.com. Call us at 321-242-1331. We suggest you call us and make an appointment, especially if you're going to be booking cruises that are a little bit complicated, so that we can spend a lot of time with you and go over everything in detail and make sure that you understand exactly what you're purchasing when you spend the money on your cruise or your vacation. We also represent land tour operations such as Tauk and Globus and Colette, as well as 26 different ocean cruise lines and all of the major river cruise companies also, so we can make your vacation dreams happen. We know that vacation dollars are hard to come by in this economy, and we know that there are no do-overs when you do take a vacation, so we want to make sure you get it right the first time, and that you have a wonderful vacation and that you come back and see us each time. Well, Royal Caribbean, we were looking this week at what's new going on with Royal Caribbean. The biggest news from Royal Caribbean is that there will be a new ship out in 2018. That will be the Symphony of the Seas. She will be another Oasis-class ship. She'll be launching in March of 2018, sailing the Mediterranean, and then going to Miami after that to do Eastern and Western Caribbean sailings. And she'll be starting in Miami in November of 2018 with the brand new pier that's being built down there, which is Terminal A down in Miami. And we saw some of that construction a few weeks ago when we went down to get on the Azamara cruise. Well, here's the band, and that means we've come to our first time out of the day. We're going to run ashore for a very brief shore excursion. We'll be right back. We'll be talking some more about what's going on in the airline world when we get back, so please join us.
Lovely hula hands, telling of the rain in the valley, and the swirling wind over the Pali. Lovely hula hands.
This is Just Cruisin' on 1240 and 1350 WMMB. Here's Larry.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. There's a little bit of ukulele for you, just to remind you that we are Hawaii destination experts. We lived in Hawaii for a long time, and we have taken tests and training, and we go to Hawaii at least once a year to keep updated on what's going on in the islands. So if you have any thoughts of going to Hawaii, you definitely want to check in with us before you book that vacation. It's Cruise Holidays of Viera, 321-242-1331. Also want to remind you about our webpage, viera.cruiseholidays.com. All kinds of great information on there. All of our specials, our escorted cruises that we have coming up are on our webpage there. Also, you can download our app, and that'll allow you to get notifications from us when we have sales or special rates and things like that. That's all available. And you can now watch our show as well as listen to it. We post our podcasts or videos of the show up on YouTube each week, and you can see those shows if you'll just go down on the page. And then finally, there's a section there called Ask the Travel Guy. If you've got any questions about travel, cruises, and things like that, please go there, click the button. It'll send us an email and ask us the question. We'll try to find the answer, and if we can't, we'll tell you we can't find it. But anyway, give it a try. Ask the Travel Guide, or just send an email to askthetravelguy@gmail.com. Well, I was looking through the computer monitor this week, and several stories came across about travel, and specifically air travel. And I always applaud when I see the U.S. government doing something that makes travel easier and uses common sense. So here's a story about that. The chief of the TSA, the new head of the TSA administrator, that's the correct title. His name is David Pekoski, and he proposed this week at a conference of who were these people? Anyway, he was at a conference, and he proposed merging the TSA Precheck with the Global Entry program. Now, TSA has a program called Precheck, which you've heard me talk about here on Just Cruising. It's a great service. What you do is that you go, you fill out a form. They do a little bit of a background check on you. You go out and you have an interview. And by the way, if you want to get TSA Precheck, the Brevard County Tax Collector has made it very easy for you to do this. You just go to her site, BrevardTC for taxcollector.com, and you scroll down, you'll see TSA Precheck. They've got the forms for you to fill out, and they can set up an interview for you right here in Brevard County. Used to, we had to go over to Orlando to have that interview. But the Precheck allows you to go to a separate line in security, and I found it's really, and sometimes the airlines are offering this to you for free. The TSA Precheck, by the way, is an $85 fee, and that lasts for 5 years. Global Entry, now TSA Precheck, before I forget, you go to a separate line. You don't have to take off your belt. You don't have to take off your shoes. You don't have to take your laptop off out of the bag, and it goes much quicker than the other lines, especially out of Orlando, where there's a whole bunch of kids. So the TSA Precheck is a really good deal. Now, he's proposing that we merge this with the Global Entry. Global Entry is a separate program that's being run by the Border Patrol folks, and that one cost $100, and basically that's good forever. And wouldn't that be cool? So Global Entry allows you to go through a separate line when you come back into the country with your passport when you're flying back in the country. Now, a little bit of a change of our cruise ports, at least here in Florida now. We no longer have to fill out a customs form unless you have something to declare. That is more than $800 per person in personal goods that you bought, more than 1 liter of alcohol, more than $10,000 in cash. So you get the idea. If you don't have those things to declare, you no longer have to fill out a customs form. So we pretty much go through with our passports and talk to the customs folks or the TSA people at the cruises. Now, coming back in from airports, it's a different situation. So take the TSA Precheck and combine it with the Global Entry. I think it's a fabulous idea. and it would do a lot of things. Mr. Pekoski noted, I have a separate infrastructure that manages TSA Precheck enrollments, and that's, I think, a big duplication of efforts, sometimes in the very same airport. So they could only have one line, one for global entry and the same line for TSA Precheck. TSA could adopt the facial recognition technology that's currently being piloted by the Border Patrol folks for global entry. So great idea all the way around. Probably the fees would come down if you combine the two programs, because you only have to do one background check. So let's hope this gets off the ground. And let's see. I really like this, Mr. Pekoski, the new administrator of the TSA, because he's looking at some more innovations. He said he's considered creating a, quote, airport security area of the future, including updating passenger screening processes, bringing in new technology like 3D imaging of bag checkpoints. They are piloting the 3D imaging at the Phoenix airport, and I hear it's going very, very well. It has really speeded up the X-raying of carry-on luggage and articles such as coats and things like that. It's cut way down on the number of items that get through, that get missed by the regular X-ray. So, again, anything that makes travel easier, I am all in favor of. And along those veins, another announcement this week is that Brazil is going to launch an e-visa program. Now, this doesn't sound like a very big deal, but going to South America, whether you're cruising or touring or anything, you almost always go through Brazil. And currently, when you go through Brazil, you have to apply for a visa. First of all, the visa costs $160. It has a massive application form that runs to many pages. You have to mail that in with your passport, so you're out of the water as far as travel while your passport's gone to a consul or embassy to get this Brazilian visa. So it is a huge pain. Now, when they implement the e-visas for Brazil, which will start on January 25th for the United States, what you'll do is you'll log on to a website. You'll fill out the form. You'll pay a $40 fee only instead of a $160 fee, and they will email you back an electronic visa that will be good for, 10 years. Very, very nice system. A lot of countries are using this system, and especially like Australia, it's really makes things much easier, and it accomplishes what they're trying to do. What we would love to happen eventually is to do away with visas for all countries, but that's probably a long ways away because countries use visas to punish the citizens of each other's countries, and it's a reciprocal thing. The more the United States punishes a country, the more they punish U.S. citizens. So. Now, a story about if you are considering buying one of these new smart bags, and these are pieces of luggage that come in, and they have several different features. Not all of them have all these features, but what they all have are lithium batteries. So some of them have USB ports where you can plug in your phone or whatever device, iPad, smart tablet, and recharge it. Some of them also have an RFID chip so that you can locate the bag if it gets lost. Some even have a little motor so that you can sit on the luggage and ride it. So this is smart luggage. If you're considering buying that, be advised that both American and Delta are proposing new rules on January 15th for smart luggage. Both airlines are going to not allow you to check smart luggage. And in the case of American, they will allow it as carry-on. Delta is not going to allow it as a carry-on luggage. United and Southwest have not said what they're going to be doing. The concern here is lithium batteries in the cargo hold. We've had a lot of problems with when the change in temperatures, lithium batteries catching fire in the baggage hold of the airlines, and it's a very, very dangerous situation. One more thing about airline travel before we leave the subject. There are some new fares out there, which I've been telling you about. They're variously called basic economy tickets. They're not economy. They're below economy. Delta has just announced that they're going to impose a baggage fee for checked luggage on transatlantic flights or international flights with this new fare, and it's pretty steep. It's $50 per bag. The reason I'm telling you this is be careful when you're looking at airfares out there on the internet and you see this really great low fare to London. Be careful that it's not one of this basic economies that you're then going to have to pay to check luggage. Right now, all international flights, transatlantic flights, trans-Pacific flights, you do not have to pay for luggage. Now, if you get the Delta Comfort or what they call the main cabin fare, you will not have to pay the fee. So be very careful when you're comparing fees out there, when you're looking at fares on these different airlines. Also, this basic economy that Delta is offering doesn't allow you to select your seat. And some of the airlines, not Delta, but some of them don't allow even carry-on luggage with this fee. You're going to have to pay for carry-on luggage. You're going to have to pay for checked luggage. You're going to have to pay for Okay, be careful out there when you're looking at these fees. Okay, we're here at another timeout. We're going to run ashore. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, and join us when we come back, please.
Don't miss out on the show. Listen to Just Cruising on our iHeartRadio channel with the iHeartRadio app.
Hi there. Welcome back. Thanks for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. We have a great time bringing the show to you. Hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'll tell you a little semi-amusing story. A few weeks ago, we were in Cozumel on our cruise that we did to Havana on Azamara. And we docked down at the pier that's, if you're familiar with Cozumel, there's a couple of piers there. One is what I call the International Pier, and it's the town pier. It's the closest one down to the ferry dock down there. The ferry, remember Cozumel's an island, and Mexico proper, you have to take a ferry to get over to the mainland. So we were docked down there because we're a smaller ship, and the other dock is what is further down where Royal Caribbean and Carnival and Celebrity and all those guys dock, and Princess. So because we were down at this, we were closer to town, and so one of the things that we like to do in Cozumel is go to a restaurant called Pancho's Backyard. And it's from the Royal Caribbean and Carnival port piers. It's about a $7 or $8 taxi ride downtown, and Pancho's Backyard is there. So we decided to walk down to Pancho's Backyard. Well, as we were walking along, two of our guests were with us, Judy and John. They were in our group, and they hailed us down, and so we started walking together. And we walked on down the street, and one of the shops we always like to go into is Care Aloha. And if you're familiar with the ports here in the Caribbean, you know Care Aloha are the folks that sell bamboo products. They do T-shirts and shorts and socks and headbands and all kinds, but they also sell bedroom and bathroom products. They have fabulous sheets and fabulous towels, especially the towels. So we were in, and Judy and John joined us, and we went in. So we were standing there, and we bought, they were having a sale on towels, so we bought some towels. And as the guy's ringing it up and everything, and the fellow's name was George or Jorge, and he's a Mexican fellow, a very nice guy. And they had a little display of the Care Aloha bamboo bed. And we had been in the market for a mattress. So we started talking to him about the mattress. And so he said, oh, this is really nice. And so we went back and forth and said, I never thought I'd be doing this. I was bargaining for a mattress in Mexico, in Cozumel. I mean, normally you're doing beads and trinkets and things, but we were there bargaining for a mattress. And so he came down on the price. And then our friend John says, well, how much would you charge us for two mattresses if we bought one? And the guy goes running off. He says, I'm going to go see my manager, and I'll be right back. And he I felt like I was buying a car, got to go see the manager, and can you afford this per month? And anyway, he comes back and he gives us another price, and it was another discount over the one mattress. So we both said, hey, we're going to both buy a mattress. Now, we went back to the ship and we told everybody we bought a mattress, and they said, well, how are you going to get that thing through customs? Well, what it is you buy the mattress, and then they ship it. They got this new technology where it comes in a box, and you open up the box and it expands out. So anyway, that's one of the more unusual things we have ever done on a cruise, and that was buy a mattress in Cozumel. Well, back to the news of the week from the world of cruising. Princess Cruises announced that they're going to have a new princess. She is going to be called the Sky Princess, and she's going to be along or in the same class as their Royal class ships, which includes the Royal Princess, the first one launched, the Regal, and the Majestic Princess. This is a very nice cruise ship, a class of cruise ships. They're 143,000 tons, so that's about 50,000 tons less than the Oasis, and carry about 3,660 passengers. They're very easy to get around on. I really like this whole Royal class of Princess ships. And some of the features on board these ships, they include the central piazza, which is an atrium. It's a several deck level atrium. Excuse me, they have the sanctuary, which is an adults only, camp discovery for youth and teen centers. The dining venues include the Salty Dog Grill, Alfredo's Pizzeria, which is fabulous. Boy, they make tremendous pizzas there, and they do it all day long. The Vines Wine Bar, Chef's Table, Lumiere, and the World Fresh Marketplace is really neat, too. All kinds of salads and fruits and really nice things. So this is Princess. This will be the fourth of the Royal class vessels. She'll be coming out in 2019. And then at the same time, they announced they're going to build a fifth Royal class vessel. I think this class of ship is working out so well for Princess, they're just going to keep turning them out here until they come up with something better. So they announced a fifth one in 2020. So congratulations to Princess on what they're doing with this new Royal class ship. It's a really big hit. The size is nice, and I think everybody really enjoys this ship. Well, I want to remind you that Just Cruising is brought to you every Saturday morning here on WMMB by Cruise Holidays of Viera. We are a boutique vacation planning store, not only for cruises, but for land vacations, for vacation rentals. If you want to get a luxury villa in Tuscany, we can fix you up with that. And we are available to you. Cruise Holidays of Viera is co-owned by myself and my lovely and gracious wife, Lynda Jackson, who is just wonderful to work with when planning a vacation. She is so nice and so knowledgeable and so detail-oriented. You're really going to enjoy working with her. And we invite you to give us a try by calling us at 321-242-1331. Please call and make an appointment and then come to see us. We're located in Suntree at the corners of Wickham Road and Suntree Boulevard, which is that little short road that runs between US 1 and Wickham Road. It's kind of the shortcut you take off the Pineda crossing to go over to the avenues. And we would love to see you, and we would love to help you plan your next vacation. We pride ourselves on service and repeat customers. And that's really the way we built our business, is on referrals and repeat customers, because if we take care of our clients, then they will come back to us and they will send us their friends and neighbors. And we appreciate that. Oh, by the way, before I forget it, I want to tell you, we have a new business in our little shopping center, the Suntree Station, and that's Sal's Barbershop. If you're looking for an old-fashioned barbershop, Sal's Barbershop is a great place to go. You know what he does? I haven't had this done in years. He even shaves like the back of your neck and around your ears with a straight razor. People don't do that anymore. That's Sal's Barbershop. I think he's open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. During the week, and on the weekends he has different hours. But stop by and see that. That's at the corner of Wickham Road and Suntree Boulevard. It's 7025 North Wickham Road. And go in and tell Sal you heard about him on Just Cruising and Cruise Holidays of Viera. All right, back to some interesting stories we saw this week. Let's talk about some tech trends that are coming along in the cruise industry. If you haven't been keeping up or you haven't been on a cruise in a while, we have a lot of new things as far as technology is concerned that's coming aboard our ships. The first one is faster Wi-Fi. If you cruised back in, 10, 12 years ago, you remember our internet access was we would go down to an internet cafe where there would be this old Dell computer there, and you would log on and create a password and a sign-on and go and get on the internet. Well, maybe not. If the ship was in clouds, it didn't work very well. If there was a bunch of people on the internet at the same time, it didn't work very well. It was extremely slow. It was like a dial-up modem. And then when you got your email, it was excruciating slow. It would print or display one line at a time while and you were paying like 60, 70 cents a minute, and you go, oh man, this thing has got to hurry up. So we have come a long way now. We now have ships with Wi-Fi all over the ship. You can use your own devices, your smartphone, your tablet, or your own laptop. The speed is cable speed modem. They now sell the packages at 7 days at a time. They're very reasonable. On Azamara, the 7-day package was $139, and that's for 24/7 unlimited access. The speed is so good on some of our newer ships, especially Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, that you can actually stream movies right there in your cabin off of the Wi-Fi, and you're not paying a per minute charge, so it doesn't really. So Wi-Fi is one technology that has come a long way, and it will continue to improve on ships. You know those big satellite domes you see on the big round things that you see on all the cruise ships now? They're going away. They now have satellite antennae that are the size of a tablet. They're the size of your iPad. And so that's what they are called, phaser and speedcast, and they're going to start to be deployed on cruise ships. So we're going to see those big domes go away. Fuel is going to be greener. It causes less emissions. One of the big technologies that's going to be coming to us in the next 3 or 4 years is LNG, liquid natural gas. We have a huge abundance of it here in the United States. We have now perfected the technology on storing it and transporting it. And now Carnival is creating several ships that are going to be powered by liquid natural gas. It produces no carbon emissions whatsoever. Facial recognition is another piece of technology that we're seeing being deployed by the cruise lines, and what that's going to do for you is make the boarding process a huge piece of cake. It's going to be very, very quick, and it's going to also help you with different things like restaurant reservations, because when you walk in the door, it's going to recognize you and see who you are. So facial recognition is another technology that's going to be coming to our cruise lines. It's going to eliminate lines, especially for boarding. And then finally, the new apps and the way that apps can interact on your smartphone, going to make it really easy to get around the ship, see what's going on around the ship, make reservations for dining and shows like that. So all of that technology is coming to you. Well, we're here at the last time out of the day. We're going to run ashore one more time. We'll be right back. And when we come back, again, we've got some more news of the world of cruising. So please stay with us.
You know you want to take that cruise. Call the Cruise Holidays of Viera office now at 321-242-1331 or toll free at 866-291-1331.
And hi there. We're so glad you're here with us this morning. Hey, I want to tell you about a special cruise. By the way, what are you doing next December of 2018? Larry, I don't even know what I'm doing December of 2017, but, well, start thinking about this. There's going to be a fantastic new ship coming out on December 16th of 2018. The ship is the Celebrity Cruise Lines, and the name of the ship is called The Edge. And if you'd like to see some videos about The Edge, We've got them posted up on our webpage, and that is viera.cruiseholidays.com. Scroll down there. You'll see a snake with an apple. And if you click on the video, you'll see why that is. It's kind of strange to have that as an icon for a video. But anyway, there's a great video there about the Edge, and this is Celebrity's newest cruise ship that's coming out. Now, what we have done is we've reserved a group aboard this ship, and we have a whole bunch of cabins already reserved, folks that want to travel with us. It's going to be a 7-day cruise. It's going to be out of Fort Lauderdale, but we put together a package that includes a round-trip private bus, a very pleasant way to travel. There's no stops. You don't have to stop at 6 different cruise ships before you get to yours, and it's a charter, and we do what we want to with it, so we don't have to worry about making a whole bunch of stops. It includes travel guard insurance and gratuity, so that we have that very special pricing for you that's a lot less than what you could book it for right now. And this is a Celebrity Edge, December 16th through the 23rd, 7-day cruise. We don't care where it's going, because actually it's going to the Eastern Caribbean, because you're not going to want to get off the ship. She features things like these new staterooms that are going to have a balcony that doesn't have any windows, basically. You're going to look out through the door of your cabin out into the ocean unobstructed. Watch the video and you'll know what I'm talking about. So if you want to go aboard the latest and greatest technology, when we talk about technology, this is technology. This will be the Celebrity Edge, December 16th through the 23rd, 2018. All the information is right on our webpage, viera.cruiseholidays.com. Just scroll down to the Edge inaugural. And you can actually sign up for the cruise right there on the webpage. So please go have a look at that. We'd love to have you join us for this revolutionary new ship. It's going to change the world of cruising, and you can be one of the first to be on board her. That's next December. All right. Now, speaking of cruise ships, I found a very interesting article about how cruise ships are built. And did you know all this stuff? Let's see if you knew all this stuff. Ships are built in blocks, like Lego blocks. And what they do, they are prefabricated before they touch the ship. The cabins are the best example. Not only are these metal rooms assembled, covered in wallpaper before they're installed, but everything down to the furnishings and faucets are also in place before they slide it into the side of the vessel. The process for building a cabin is a lot like an assembly line in an automotive manufacturer. Each person has a particular job, and they do the same one for each cabin as they move down the line. Everything from large built-in furniture down to the screws in the shower door. Cabins aren't the only thing built in sections either. Most of the ships are constructed like that, including the steel plates that comprise the hull. So they create steel blocks and put those together, and that creates the hull, because we have all kinds of compartments in our hulls these days to prevent the ship from tilting. If there's a breach in one of the sides and water comes in, they can flood the other side and keep the ship upright, and obviously also to keep the ship from sinking. So ships are built just like a Lego set now. They're built by blocks. When we consider the construction of a cruise ship, the number one biggest threat we have is fire. And the way they combat the threat of fire on cruise ships is to create fire zones. And there are fire zones throughout the ship, and each one is usually comprised of about 10 to 20 blocks. And these are the blocks that are constructed. The walls comprising the outside of each zone are more heavy duty and made of fire-resistant materials. And if you're looking, it's easy to tell where a zone begins and ends because of the fire doors. And you'll notice fire doors, especially when you board a ship and your cabin's not ready, because they have these fire doors shut to keep people from interfering with the staff while they're preparing the cabin. So these big fire doors, they're very heavy, and they can be automatically deployed up on the bridge. The zones are designed into the ship so that in the unlikely of event that there's a fire on board, there's a good chance it will be contained to just one zone and won't alter the ability of the vessel to float or move, and guests will be safe in other zones. So that's the reason they create zones aboard ships. This I thought was an interesting one. Vibration has to be accounted for. The problem, you may not notice it on all areas of a ship, but no matter where you are, there's always movement and vibration. On land, this wouldn't be a concern when designing a building. At sea, though, cruise vessels need to be built so that the steel structure is not compromised by constant movement. So what they do to minimize the vibrating insulation is used very heavily aboard the ships. In addition to a more technical component of the structure called vibration isolation mounts. These are basically small shock absorbers that are used in key areas of the ship's skeleton. And what they do is they separate these blocks so that they don't vibrate and rub against each other. So that's all these things go on into ship's construction that you don't even think about it, but it makes for a quieter, especially the use of insulation. We were remarking on our Azamara cruise a few weeks ago how you don't hear as much noise between cabins as we hear in hotel rooms. And I think that's because we're using more and more insulation between the cabins. And so I think it's quieter than that. Let's see. Oh, the weight of a ship is of a large concern. So a lot of the things that you see in the interior decorations of a ship are basically facades. For instance, to take the focal point of many atriums, the chandelier, to prevent the thousands of crystals from breaking loose and falling on someone, they are often reinforced with steel and attached to a metal frame. They are then cleverly lit so that you only see the pretty sparkles, not the heavy-duty elements behind them. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration when you're designing a ship. And I think it's very clever with what's happened over the years, especially because our ships no longer use screws. We don't have big rotating propellers in the back of the ship. We use electricity back to a very quiet electric motor. So cruising has gotten a lot quieter and a lot more comfortable. Well, the band is here, and we have sadly come to the end of another episode of Just Cruising. We're so glad you were able to be with us this Saturday morning. We hope you'll come back next Saturday morning and join us again. We'll be doing it again right here at WMMB, 9 a.m. on Saturday, 1240 and 1350 on your radio dial. Until we see you again, keep on cruising. Jackson of Just Cruising. Hope you're enjoying Just Cruising here on YouTube. If you'd like to keep up to date on all the videos that we'll be producing here in the near future, all you have to do is click the subscribe button just below my picture here, or you can click right over here for a list of the latest videos. Either way, we look forward to seeing you again. Until we do, keep on cruising.